Today on MuscleCar, the Magnaflow Foose Mustang gets a new stance and a lot more muscle. Then hits the pavement for a test drive. Plus, take a look back at 45 years of Ford's famous pony car.
Hey guys, welcome to MuscleCar. Our Magnaflow Foose Mustang is back in the shop, and even though it's looking pretty good, we ain't done with it yet.
This car is going to be a combination of Chip Foose style and our need for speed. And when we're done with it, we're going to give this one-of-a-kind, modern-day muscle car away to a lucky POWERBLOCK fan.
The first thing we did when the stock 2010 Mustang rolled into the shop was let Chip Foose come up with an all-new design. We bolted on a Magnaflow exhaust, got the graphics laid out, then rolled it into the booth for a new paint scheme. With the paint and graphics done, we added a Roush body kit and a set of Foose wheels.
The paint and wheels look great, but she's kind of got an altitude problem. Some Eibach lowering springs will give it the stance it needs. Throw on some Bear brakes and some Bilstein shocks, and she'll be ready to handle our plans for under the hood.
We are all about cramming more power down the throat of this pony, and Edelbrock's E4 supercharger fits the bill. Coupled with our Magnaflow exhaust, it'll bring the stock 4.6 liter from 315 horse to well over 450.
The latest generation of Mustangs have been engineered so even an average guy working in his driveway can do almost any repair. The whole teardown for this supercharger install took less than an hour. The guys at Edelbrock have made this supercharger easy to install. You can go from box to pavement in less than a day.
And with its unique inverted design, there's no hood clearance issues. You don't have to punch any holes in your oil pan, and with a handheld programmer, you can tune it yourself, which means there's no waiting at all for your ECM to make its way through the mail.
The first thing to go in is the heat exchanger, followed up by the water pump.
Now you guys have heard me say before how much I hate wiring. That's one cool thing about this kit. It comes with basically a plug-and-play wiring harness, so you don't have to worry about melting your engine down because of one sensor that's not hooked up correctly. Just swap out a couple connectors and one splice. Even I can handle that. There are some advantages to late model wiring. One is that all the plugs come apart with no cutting, which means all you need is a little patience and focus. Easy. While I was exploring my newfound wiring skills, Tommy was finishing up the plumbing for the heat exchanger.
This kit uses the stock coolant and bypass tubes, but since the spacing on the intake is different, they have to be cut apart.
Every bracket and pulley you need is included with the supercharger. Since the addition of this kit alters the routing of the accessory belt, Edelbrock has redesigned the idler pulley setup with a bracket that makes it a no-brainer. With all the groundwork done, it's time for the meat and potatoes of this project. The intake O-rings go in, and that big old lung goes on.
The kit includes a set of 41-pound injectors that snap into the factory fuel rail. Replacing injectors is kind of like jetting a carburetor. In a carb, if the jets are too small, you lean out and detonate. It's just as important in a fuel-injected car. You've got to have the right size injectors, and Edelbrock has eliminated the guesswork.
Another stock part that requires some minor modifications is the belt tensioner. The new setup requires more travel, so the factory stop is out of here. The setup requires the alternator to face rearward instead of forward, so a different pulley is going on. While I have it on the bench, I can get the wiring extensions attached.
With most of the hard work done, we're installing the throttle body and radiator hoses. We also decided to ditch the factory airbox and upgrade to an Edelbrock cold air kit. Now we've just got to tie up all the loose ends. This car is being built to showcase some hardcore performance parts, and that doesn't happen sitting on a trailer. So we're using Royal Purple synthetic oil filter and oil to keep it protected no matter who's driving it. The only thing left to do is to plug in the programmer, download the tune, and fire it up. But you're going to have to wait to hear it rumble.
Yeah, because we still have boxes of parts to throw at this thing before it ever hits the street. But stick around because we'll be finishing its transformation into the Magnaflow Foose Mustang coming up next.
After the break, find out how an inch can make all the difference.
Hey, welcome back. We've got the front suspension all removed and we're ready to start installing some of our upgrades. These Bilstein struts have tighter valving for quicker response. The eyebox springs will improve handling and give it more of an aggressive stance by lowering it more than an inch. Before the new Bilsteins can go on, I need to install the stock shock mounts to them. I'll be using a spring compressor to do this, but I'm guessing you probably don't have one of these in your garage. No problem. Just take them to a shop and they'll get you fixed up in no time.
Now, one nice thing about not going overboard on the lowering is we don't need camber correction kits to get the front end aligned. Everything bolts together just like the factory parts. We got lucky on the yellow struts and the red sway bars. The colors match our new graphics almost perfectly. The stock rotors look puny next to these big Foose brakes built by Bear. They'll keep this pony reined in with no problem. Now, when you're doing suspension modifications, it's important to address the vehicle as a whole. If you only modify the front suspension, you could end up with a car that oversteers. If you only modify the rear suspension, it could understeer. That's why most companies offer kits. Now, we want the handling on this car to be as neutral as possible. So we'll be replacing the brakes, springs, shocks, and rear sway bar to all match the front. Well, that's it, man. We're all out of parts to put on this thing. Now all we have to do is bleed the brakes, put the rubber back on it, and put a quick tune on the engine. Then we can take it out for a cruise, and that's coming up later in the show.
Up next, America's best-selling pony car is celebrating 45 years. We'll take a look back at how it became the legend it is today.
Mustang, the original. Mustang, 3 new ways to answer the call of Mustang.
It's hard to imagine the car world without it. Ever since it hit the ground in 1964, the Stampede hasn't let up. And the Mustang of today still captures the style, the power, and the spirit of the pony car that kicked it all off 45 years ago.
When the Mustang debuted on April 17, 1964, more than 22,000 were sold that day. By the end of the second year, more than 1 million were on the road. But the Mustang may have never left the stable without the vision of one man.
In 1962, Ford was still fresh off the Edsel disaster. Ford VP Lee Iacocca saw a way to revive the Blue Oval brand with his total performance concept.
It first took shape in the Mustang 1, a futuristic-looking mid-engine two-seater roadster, but Iacocca knew it was too impractical and he'd never get it approved for production.
So he pushed for a low-priced sports car, small and fun to drive, but roomy enough for 3 of your friends. To keep down costs, it had to be designed on the same frame as the Falcon and reach showrooms in less than 18 months.
The designers went back to the drawing board and came up with something a lot like the classic Mustang we know today. With some more refinements, it was unveiled at the New York World's Fair, and the country went wild.
It could be any car you wanted it to be, a sleek coupe, sporty ragtop, or killer fastback. You could get a 6-banger or a high-powered V8. Bucket seats, a 4 on the floor, and a laundry list of options, all with a price tag starting at just $2,400.
The first GTs came late in '65 and included things like fog lights, rally pack gauges, and 271 horses under the hood.
The man, Carroll Shelby, engineer, race driver. The car, the Shelby Mustang GT.
Ford teamed up with Shelby all through the 60s to create a limited edition series of race-ready Mustangs. The GT350 was a 2-seater sporting racing stripes and horsepower ramped up to over 300.
'67 was a turning point, the year it got its first big block. Shelby dropped in a 428 that made over 400 horse, known as a GT500. Regular Mustangs got a 390 V8 making 320 horse to help compete against the brand new Camaro.
The original Mustang. It opened up a whole new way to swing.
Now get ready to swing again. Mustang 69.
The little pony got bigger and badder as the 60s came to a close. Trans Am Racing spawned the Boss 302 and the Boss 429. It was so big they had to modify the suspension.
The Mustang muscled its way into the '70s, but gradually the oil crisis and EPA regulations took their toll on performance. In '74, it was stripped down to an economy gas sipper called the Mustang II, and sport versions had more bark than bite.
5 years later, the Mustang was resurrected with a fresh look on Ford's new Fox body, ushering in a new era of performance. The GT package returned in '82, and the '83 models got a 5-liter engine with 175 horses, the most since the '71 Boss 351.
For the 4th generation, Ford brought back the classic styling cues of the original, like side scoops, 3-element taillights, and the signature long hood and short deck.
When the pony car turned 40, it was time for another revamp. And this time, Ford really went retro, bringing all the elements of the original design into the 21st century. It was an instant hit with the public, reigniting muscle car fever and spurring Chevy and Dodge to play catch-up.
Not to be outdone, Ford unleashed a bold new version for 2010, one that added a more aggressive stance to that iconic style. For almost half a century, the Mustang has been proven that it's one wild horse that won't be broken.
Coming up, the guys put this one-of-a-kind pony through its paces. Find out how you could end up behind the wheel.
Hey guys, welcome back. We finally got this dude down on the ground, and I don't care what anybody says. 1 inch can make a world of difference. I mean, look at it. This thing looks mean. Now, it took a few minutes and downloaded the tune out of the programmer. We are finally ready to take this thing out on the road, see what kind of beast we've created. Ooh, that sounds good.
Not bad at all.
Hell yeah. We finally caught up on our sleep, so we were able to let some blacktop roll under the new rubber.
I really do dig the exhaust, man. It sounds good when you call on it, or even if you just kind of ease into it, keep it under the radar, if you know what I'm saying.
70 mile an hour, it's just a nice little rumble.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. Just let you know there's something going on, you know? I like it. Now, it may not ride like your grandma's caddy, but it definitely rides nice enough for a cross-country trip. No problem. suspension upgrades really tightened up the handling, man.
Tell you one thing that I really enjoy about this is the whine of the supercharger, man.
Dude, I'm honestly impressed with the supercharger. It even tunes itself for you. You know what I paid to tune my Mustang after my last engine? Almost $1,000. It cost me to bring it in and have it dyno tuned and a new ECM burned, and the whole bit was almost $1,000. And we'd also like to give a big shout out to Bear Brakes, because their brakes were good. Whoa! Those are awesome, man.
Great.
Hey Ford, congratulations on 45 years of the Mustang. Send another one our way on the 50th anniversary, and we'll do it all again. Woo! You know, days like this make those long days and long nights all worthwhile. I'd like to give a big thanks to our good buddy Chip Foose for helping us turn this bone stock GT into the Magnaflow Foose Mustang.
Yeah, you can enter to win this beauty at PowerBlockTV.com, so check it out. Let's ride, man.
Right on. We still got some gas left, man, so until next week, we're out of here.